PTSQ, post-traumatic stress quest, going the extra mile to find the answers. What is it all about? I've been working with veterans for the last 10 to 12 years, mainly with veterans suffering with post-traumatic stress, but with a myriad of other mental health issues. And we all see the suicides that's happening over the last year. I think there was in 2018, I believe there was around 80 suicides, veterans and serving personnel suicides. Just this week there's been another suicide, sadly, and I've just heard about another one, and this is unacceptable, I think. So what's the answers? Well, there's lots of organisations out there helping, but there's no joined up approach. I think it's pretty fractured myself, and post-traumatic stress quest is an idea I've come up with to try and connect organisations so we can close the gaps so that less veterans can slip through. That's the idea of this. So what's going to happen is in September this year I'm going to set out on a journey around the UK for a period of a year, and during that year I want to visit as many organisations as possible that deal with veterans and veterans' mental health, and to actually talk to veterans and their families about what's worked, what hasn't worked, where we can look at things better so they can get better access to help, where organisations are in a geographical area. So for instance, if I visit Scotland, what's exactly in Scotland that people can access to, and then if we get enough organisations come on board, we can actually split that up into East Coast, West Coast, North, South. That'll be the same for England and Wales, and hopefully I can get over to Northern Ireland as well and meet the organisations that's there. And it's important we do this because when soldiers, sailors or airmen are leaving, or air service are leaving the forces, they need to know where they can get access help. And it can't be done through a Facebook post. I try not to get involved in too many posts that say try this organisation, try that organisation, because I believe all that does is confuse the veteran. So in the end they contact nobody because they get too many answers coming back, and it's all with great purpose. There's nothing against that, but it confuses them, because if 20 organisations get put up there, where did they go? Did they just stick a pin in it and say, right, that's the one I'm going to go with? What we should be doing though is offering the services that we do. Now the MOD and the government will tell us the Veterans Gateway does that. It doesn't. In my opinion, it doesn't work. They will argue that, of course, and perhaps it can be better, but it's a signposting service, and I could tell you quite a few organisations that are not on that signposting service, us included. They've never approached us to ask us what we do, yet they've got our next door neighbours at the Army Welfare Service, not Army
Defence.
Army
Defence Medical.
Defence Medical Welfare Service. They're our next door neighbours. They're on there. We are less than, well, if you can just pan round there. That's their building to the left, and that's ours to the right. So they're on it because they're one of the big charities, and we're not, because we're one of the small charities. The small charities for me are the cold-faced charities, the ones that help the person face to face, there and then. The ones that's in our home location, and the ones that are the easier to access if they know about us. So this quest of mine, and I know it's a silly name, but it's just a name I gave it. It's basically about getting out and finding out what's out there. It's not a Lord of the Rings thing, by the way, it's just a wee quest. I'm not getting a ring at the end of it or nothing. No, there's no rings, Billy, sorry. No rings involved.
Are you going to Mordor?
I might go to Mordor.
Are you going to find Gollum?
Is that like Glasgow, is it?
More like Fife.
More like Fife. You're not like the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go out and meet organisations. So what I need is for organisations to come forward. And if they don't come forward, what's the reasons why they wouldn't come forward? That tells me more than it does, anything. If they don't want to come forward and speak about what they do, why not? Why wouldn't you want to promote what you do as a charity? This isn't about me nicking ideas or ego or about veterans in action. It's got nothing to do with that. This is about veterans, and only about veterans being able to access help better. So I'll use the Veterans Gateway as an example. It's a signposting service. What you get on there is a paragraph to say what you do as a charity, or a link to your website. That doesn't actually say what you do. What is better for me is that if we film it, and those who give the help and those that receive the help say it in their words, because it's important that we hear it from the people involved. I mean, I can give you the blurb about Veterans in Action, and if we were on the Veterans Gateway, this is exactly what it would say. Veterans in Action help veterans who have suffered the effects of war or found the transition to civilian life difficult. Corporate blurb. Doesn't actually say what we do. But what we want to do is put a series of videos up of those who want to speak about what they do as a charity. I don't think that's a lot to ask for. I want to learn more about the illness. I want to learn more about the people it affects. I want to learn about the organisations that help, and this is their chance to say that. Now, I know they could put a video about what they do up on Facebook, but the idea is to grow momentum on this, and we need to start working together. I've had some really inspiring phone calls over the last few days about organisations that do want to get together and help and get involved in and working together. Those that don't, you need to look at yourself and ask why you wouldn't want to work with another organisation. Because the simple answer is, the work we do at Veterans in Action doesn't help everybody. Neither does any other charity. But what it does, it'll give us a pathway to another organisation. So if a veteran wants to come here and he wants to do fishing, because that's what floats his boat or her boat, we don't do fishing, but I know a man who does. And that's what it's about. We need to be looking at veterans and what they want to do, not what we want them to do. Because what we want them to do isn't necessarily the best for them. What they want to do is the most important thing. Because if it's what they want to do, they take ownership of their own recovery. And believe me, you can recover. You just have to get out and do the work. It's hard work. It's not a simple path forward, but it can be done with the right support. And that's not always with Veterans in Action. This isn't a plug for VIA. This is a plug to help veterans and to plug the gaps that are there. And they're very obvious they're there. Otherwise we wouldn't be seeing the suicides we are. So that's all I want to say just now, and hopefully you can get behind Post-Traumatic Stress Quest. But it's for all mental health issues. This is just the name I've given my journey because I've been dealing with post-traumatic stress. So get behind us. We've got a Facebook group called PTSQ, Post-Traumatic Stress Quest. Going the extra mile for answers. Please join our group. If you're a CEO or work for an organisation, get in touch with me. And you can get in touch with me on billymcleod@veteransinaction.org.uk, or you can call our number, our office number, 01264 771658, and we'll have a conversation or an email. Let's get together. Once I have enough organisations, I can start to work out a route. At the moment, with a few organisations on board, I can't work out a route because some are in Scotland, some are in right down in Dorset. So until we get a few organisations in, we can start planning out a route, which means we can set dates and a planned route around the country. Anyway, thanks for listening.